Hello everyone, I'm Lieven Annemans. I'm a professor of health economics at Ghent University and I'm happy to be here with you. I would like to share with you some key elements of the report that Vintura wrote on plasma-derived medical products. I would like to start, however, with what I call the key principles of a good healthcare system. And those three principles are quality, solidarity and sustainability. Quality is obvious. We want good healthcare systems to deliver the best possible quality of care to our patients and to our citizens. The second one, solidarity, means that two people with the same need also deserve the same quality of care. It's a human right. It's Article 25 of the Declaration of Human Rights that states that every citizen has the right for good healthcare. The third principle is sustainability. That means that if we still want to guarantee good care for everyone in 10 or 20 years from now, we have to make sure that we don't waste the money in the system, that we spend our euros and our dollars wisely. These three principles clearly apply for the PDMPs. Why? Well, first of all, quality, that's quite logic. We see that these products offer a lot of quality adjusted life years because they save lives, they improve the quality of life of patients, there are plenty of data on that. And also they have an important socioeconomic benefit then, because people can have a normal life, pretty normal life, can be very productive, can contribute to the economy. So the socioeconomic benefits of these products are huge. Solidarity, there we see an issue, because as I said, everybody who can benefit from this product should also have access to these products. And that means that we have to guarantee that entire chain from donor to patient. And there we see in that change already some disruptions, and we have to avoid those disruptions. All those who are convinced about the value of these products, and I think everybody should be convinced about the value of these products, should also be convinced that we have to avoid any possible disruption at any point in that chain from donor to patient. It starts already with getting the plasma. We see there that there is kind of an imbalance, because there are 4 countries that are responsible for more than 55% of the obtaining the plasma. And we see that, that this is maybe not sustainable. We know that we will need even more of these products in the future because of the demographic changes, and these diseases require longer and for a longer time treatment. So that means that we have to find the balance there, and that we have to find incentives that also more European countries can obtain more donors of plasma. It's not a coincidence that those 4 countries that I referred to apply clear incentives for their donors, and that's really very effective and good practice and should be applied more also in other countries. Availability also has to do with money, of course, and that brings us to the third key principle, namely sustainability. And there we see that there are challenges on 2 levels. First of all, what we could call the formal patient access procedures, reimbursement. We see that not everywhere the reimbursement of these products is optimal. We need to look at what we call cost effectiveness. What is the cost of the products and what is their effectiveness? But we have to look at more. We see that more and more countries adapt their reimbursement procedures and criteria to bring in 2 additional elements, namely the medical need, and no doubt that the medical need is very high for most of the conditions that we treat with the PDMPs. And we also have to bring in budget impact. I proposed, and it's also written in the report, a concept which I call value-informed and affordable prices. That means that the price of products is in relation to the value that they deliver to the patient, but we keep there in the calculation also the importance of the budget impact and the medical need. And by doing that, we will see that we can really find that these products can be value for money in that broader concept. So we have to get away from the what some people call the cost plus price. Just give us your cost of your production and development, and that will be then your price with a little bit of margin. No, we have to pay for value. Value is of crucial importance, especially now in a world where we go to what we call value-based healthcare systems. And with that regard, I would like to point to two other elements that are also clearly written in the report. The first is cost containment measures. On first sight, it looks logic that, remember, given sustainability of healthcare systems, that countries try to contain the costs of care. However, there are two dangers. First of all, it might be very linear sometimes, so not making a distinction anymore between products of high value and products of low value. And second, it doesn't take into account the complexity of some of the products. We can easily refer also to vaccines. In many countries, vaccines are receiving an exemption of cost containment because they are complex to produce and because they have a huge societal benefit. So I think when we talk about PDMPs, that the same criteria apply, and we have to be really very careful with purely cost containment, which ends up sometimes to be really cost myopic, and that's not what we want. We want to keep that value always in the picture when we want to make good healthcare decisions. And that brings us to another element, that is tenders. Again, the same story. If tenders are purely based on price, then we get a race to the bottom of those prices, and moreover, we forget to bring in again the element value. So it's normal again that countries and healthcare systems organize tenders, but then it should be based on a logic that we call value-based procurement, that all the elements of the value are taken into account in the picture. And also that we have to make sure that when products are not interchangeable, that we allow several products still to be available to patients, that clinicians have the choice to work with those products. So it's very important that we pay attention to those issues. And that brings me to the conclusions of my story today. So first of all, I argued that we have to be very careful to avoid any disruption in that very important chain from donor to patients, and that we have to increase the number of donors. We will need more of these products in the future, so we'll need to increase and take measures to increase the number of donors. Second, when we deal with reimbursement, there should be more harmonized and more clear criteria that take into account the value of the products, the cost effectiveness, the medical need, and the impact on the budget. And third, we have to be careful with measures that only look at costs and nothing but cost, because then we completely forget the value and the societal impact of the products, and those need always to be part of the equation. In conclusion, I think there is room for improvement. I'm an optimist, and we have to have an open dialogue to try to improve indeed the current situation for the PDMPs. I invite everybody to read the report carefully. There is much more than I was explaining now in this very short speech to you, and I hope that you enjoy it and that it can help to improve indeed the access to patients, because that's the ultimate goal.